Om Tameva Pita Chamata Tvameva Tameva Bandhuscha Shakha Tameva Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Tameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, you are my mother, you are my father, you are my friend and philosopher. You are my everything, all in all, O Lord of Lords. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. So, we are back to our study of the Narada's way of divine love, and we have finished, read verse number 28, so we will be going to verse 29. But 28 verse, where the Narada discussed that what is the way to reach this devotion? That was the first question. And that different sages suggest different symptoms, signs of the development in the path of devotion. So bhakti, how do you attain to that bhakti? So that's why it was said, that it was said that this example of the extraordinary love you talked about, O Narada, where is the example? Is it possible that ecstatic love, intoxicating love, people will be absorbed in that blissfulness and the world will be nothing for them, no attachment? How it would happen? Then he said, yes, yes, don't worry, there are examples and holy people are there, like gopis of the Vrindavan they had. And that, but how you reach? Na tasya jnanam sadhanam. So he said, those people, this bhakti they attain, they think that bhakti is much higher than that of the dry knowledge or action centered around ego, meditation with distracted mind. It is much easier. Why? And greater, because spontaneity, bhakti is inside the heart of everyone. Only it is to be directed to God. And bhakti is also matures in its own way. Bhakti is a path, and bhakti is also the end. The path itself, you can understand the juice of the end result. Suppose you are working for hard, and you will get the salary at the end of the month. But suppose you are working now, and instantly you are getting instant rewards. What will happen? That is much better. You work a little bit and you feel joy. You are loving God, you are crying for God, and instantly you feel the touch of joy and love here. That's why that is the test of it. That's why we read that phalarupatvat. It is its result. Whether at the end I will get joy, no doubt. Because when you are with devotion, praying or doing anything, japa, meditation, prayer, you feel the joy, you feel the peace, you feel the holiness. So that's why it is so special. And then it says, but it does not come to a person who has ego, big nose, high nose, what do you call the language? Nose high.
Obnoxious.
Huh?
Obnoxious.
What is the language? Someone is proud.
Very
People say no, nose, high nose, or what the language?
obnoxious person. Not easy.
Obnoxious to, that is not the point. People normally, terminology is there. He is high nose, nose is high.
She said 45-degree nose.
That means he is like, anyhow, we do not know that language. So
I know what you mean,
no, but that's a terminology. I don't remember that. So therefore, those egotistic person has no place. Bhakti has no place for egotistic people, Because God doesn't love ego, does not love like ego. And He likes those who are humble. That's why in the whole philosophy of bhakti, He loves the people who surrender to Him, not those people, haughty people. All the Chandi, Asuras, they are haughty. I am, who is there? I am everything. Therefore, they are destroyed. But those who take refuge, we read every day Chandi. Those who take refuge in you, they become also the refuge of others. That means God's grace comes very spontaneously. And now some sages,
That they have their nose in the air.
ठीक है, nose in the air. That's the terminology. They have the nose in the air. That's it. Now the 29th verse today we'll read that anya asrayatam iti anne. So 28th verse, what I read last time, it says you have to know. Some are of the opinion that knowledge is the means to attain bhakti. Unless you have knowledge, you cannot have real bhakti. Like Shankara's bhakti, like Ramanuja's bhakti, they have some type of knowledge. So without knowledge, you cannot have bhakti. You cannot love someone totally unless you know, analyze and know he is the highest, he is the greatest. So, if you know he is greatest or she is greatest, then what will happen? Your mind will not move from that part. Because you know the best person. So, here we read that some are of the opinion that knowledge is the means to attain bhakti. Jnanam eva sadhanam. Sadhana means practice. You have to practice Vedanta practice to ultimately reach bhakti. Why? They say by Vedanta practice your heart will be pure. As Vedanta people say, bhakti is necessary. By practicing bhakti your heart becomes pure. Then you are fit for jnana. But the Bhaktist people will say, jnana is the beginning. You analyze, try to select, God is the ultimate, convince that, then your bhakti will be right. So, here, now, 28th verse today we are reading that anya asrayattamiti, their harmonizers come. Don't say that jnana is higher than the bhakti, bhakti is higher than jnana. One is dependent of another. That means both are needed in the spiritual journey. To be a good bhakta, you should also have analytical mind little, otherwise it will be emotion. And it will be mere emotion if you have no touch of knowledge. That's why people, emotionally, people get in the bhakti school, they sing and dance in the name of God. No. Ramakrishna used to sing and dance. When he used to sing, his mind is to go deeper, deeper into the glory of the Lord and his essential nature and get absorbed, and he used to go to samadhi. But before that he is jumping, dancing with the people, no? But what we do, we dance, jump, even there is a competition. When they are dancing in the Krishna, 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 how much from your feet, earth, your feet is high up. But that becomes spontaneous for great souls. They are absorbed in their deep ecstasy. And before going, mind is so much, energy is feeling, the whole body is like dancing in that rhythm. So dancing, mere dancing is an expression of emotion. That's why in Vedanta tradition, in our Ramakrishna tradition, because it is a harmonizing tradition, it says, don't show your emotion. In spiritual life, if tears come, okay, do it, check it, so that it becomes deep. And normal emotion, nothing has happened, a little bit, and people make a fuss of it. More you bring the emotion to, like the children do. When they want to show a fake cry, what they do? They will but real, that's why it is should be, this verse says, je unna anya, one depends on the anya, asrayatam is sheltered. Jnana and bhakti, they are complementary, not they are not what you call the exclusive, or one is higher than the other. And there are saints like that. So others are of the opinion that knowledge and devotion are interdependent. You cannot have true knowledge unless you have true love. And true love, to get that, you should have true knowledge. That means Jnana and Bhakti take the two tools together and make a spiritual journey. And Ramakrishna said, make the four tools together. Jnana, Karma, Yoga, Bhakti. Added, two other added. Narada says, it is not Narada, it is some of the sages Narada is quoting, that in the world there are some people who think that they are interdependent. Some say Jnana is very much necessary to have Bhakti. Some say interdependent. So this is what? That is explained here. That what is the main Narada quoting the verse? That others, there are others, they are of the opinion that knowledge and devotion, they are interdependent. If you really have love for God, you must have to know God is the ultimate glory. God is the highest. There is no higher object above God. Or as also, then you need not have to understand not only to say God is highest, but if it is highest, how you are not getting absorbed in it. So love God. So two sides will be practiced together. So the explanation has been given in the book of Swami Prabhavananda on page 73 at the bottom. It's a verse number 29. This also is very true. Knowledge and devotion are like two wings with which the spiritual aspirant can fly to the spiritual height. Like it is bird to fly in the sky, it needs two wings, no? Similarly, to fly in the spiritual realm, the highest peak, no? So you need the two wings. Only one wing, if you are strong in one wing, another wing does not function. What will happen? And birds cannot fly. They try, they fall down. So spiritual life should not be segmental. It's a harmonizing idea. If love is not combined with intellect and will means the determinative faculty, analytical mind, and intellect combined with intellect and will, it may turn into blind emotionalism. It is blind emotionalism. And that brings fanaticism. That's why dualistic religions sometimes become fanatic. Say, even in Hinduism, so broad, in the Bhagavad you find they are talking about Krishna. And Krishna has been shown in both ways, so much. But fanatics, one-sided, they become one-sided. They said Krishna is the only way, there is no other. Christ is the only way, otherwise you are doomed. Allah is the only way, you are doomed. Vedanta says, no, that's also okay. This is also okay, this is also okay. You choose and go forward. So, that's why it is said that it may, that blind emotionalism versus true, genuine love for God. So, and if intellect is not assisted by love, suppose you have intellect, they are dry people, day and night talking, Pandits, that's the best example. You go to the university, you go to the scholars, the entire, someone gives a scholarly talk, means what? Your head will reel. Your head will be wow, 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 because talking so high, it is going over the head. So, it becomes dry intellectualism. Hmm? And that does not bring anything but your intellectual satisfaction. It does not touch here, the heart. You should feel it here. So that's why I said that if intellect is not two things, if love is not combined with intellect and will, your intelligent, analytical, faculty is not combined with your loving aspect of heart, it will turn into blind emotionalism, because emotion is the primary thing. Knowledge has no place there. Hmm? If some fanatics, how they did? They are lovers of God. Crusade happened. Why? They love Christ. They are not bad people in the society. Those who are Islam people, they love Allah. But anytime emotionalism is not guided by reason, if normal reason comes, okay, but they don't believe in my religion, therefore you go and you do kill them, torture them, butcher them. That's nothing. You will go to heaven because you are doing God's work. Bring reason. How it matches. If you want to be godlike, God is butcher, God is killer, God is lover, God is my beloved, God is my mom, God is my dad. Like our day-to-day life, in our normal living, He is more than that. His love is more than father's love, mother's love, affection, protection. Where will you find anything like that? That is my God. So if your reason is there, this fanaticism will stop. So emotionalism will be dangerous. So emotion, to restrict emotion, you bring reason. That's why when people become emotional, you come, settle down, come to reason, let us think, let us analyze. See? After analyzing, discussing, people can say, oh, right, now I understand. I was too much emotional. No? So emotion to check, you need the help of your tool, beautiful tool, which is your intellect. And on the contrary, intellect, you are very intellectual, and is not assisted by love, then what happens? Interest in God, it becomes dry intellectualism. In Indian logic, they say, the logicians spend hours and hours to decide whether the oil is held in the pot or pot is held in the oil. Oil is held in the pot or pot is held in the oil. Useless discussion. No, that has nothing to do with your spirituality or anything. That's why when Buddhism and Vedanta go into intellectual debate, they go in such a level. Ordinary brain will say, why they are contradicting each other? They are saying the same thing, it appears. But there's a fine fallacy between them. And that becomes a big argument. And there they become winner. Vedanta wins over Bhakti, Shunyavad, or Shunyavada wins over Bhakti, Vedanta. So, it's intellectual. So there is one, our Pandit, he was a great Pandit of Calcutta University. He used to come to teach our monks, us, to Upanishads and things. And he is the top in India about the subject of Vedanta, Chanchu, Vedanta, Vagis. So many certificates he has got. So he used to teach. Once he has said, I will not be able to come this week and that week because I lived. Well, everyone asked, oh, why, sir? Where are you going? He said, I am being invited to speak in the Benares. There is a Pandit conference, and in that conference, I have to speak on Sankhya philosophy and Sankhyan philosophy to establish Sankhya philosophy. Then everyone said, whole life you are Vedanta and now you will go in to support Sankhya against Vedanta? Well, that's the intellectual thing. And actually he went and he gave such strong argument from Sankhya philosophy. Vedanta, other pundits failed to give sufficient argument. Though there are arguments, you have to go step by step. You cannot just say, Vedanta is ultimate. No. So they actually, when they came back, then again the sadhus asked, so what happened, what happened? Well, yes, I went there and I took the side of the Sankhya philosophy and I shredded their ideas. You shredded the whole life, you are Vedanta. You shredded your Vedanta. Well, no, it is intellectual, no. So intellectual pursuit. So what result is there, tell me? Vedanta and Sankhya. We know Sankhya is a step, after that you go to Vedanta. Now, you are in the Vedanta. You live, whole life you are teaching Vedanta. And now you, because of honor, that you are a great scholar to prove, you took the side of the Sankhya and you smashed the ideas of Vedanta, and Vedanta is secondary. Sankhya is the primary. Like that. So, it is intellectual. So that is the point. It becomes intellectualism. As you read in The Cloud of the Unknowing, that book, what he says, quote, by the least longing, a man is led to be servant of God. By the least longing, a man is led to the servant of God. Not by faultless deduction or dialectics, but by the mysterious logic of the heart. That means blending the heart. Mysterious, there is a logic of your heart. How many intellectual people talks about that God is not there? You are thinking of God, your heart will say, whatever they are saying, but I know there is something. I have not experienced ultimate, but I know there is somebody who responds to my prayers in difficulties, comes in a subtle way. I don't see him, I don't feel him, but it works. Ramakrishna said, sincere prayers, if you have sincere prayer, God will respond and you will feel that. So here is the point. The cloud of the unknowing, there the sadhaka, he writes, by the least longing, a man is led to be the servant of God. You have a least longing for God, then you can easily be a servant of God. Because not by faultless deduction. You don't sit and analyze and logical conclusion. No, not that. Of the dialects, but by mysterious logic of your heart. You do not know where is that. The loving heart is there. That gives you the clarity about the presence of God. Both intellect and devotion must go hand in hand. That is the point. Jnana and bhakti. That's why Thakur said what? Jnana Mishra Bhakti. What is the way Ramakrishna said in the Gospel? Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti mixed with Jnana. Swami Vivekananda says about this. What? He gave a good example. I want to cook a meal. How will you cook? I shall give you dry, hard reason. Reason is the Jnana. So I will give you some dry things. Now, softened in the sweetest syrup of love, you put it into the syrup of love. And then you put into the frying pan, cooked in the kitchen of yoga, made spicy. You can cook good meal, you have to make little spice, this, that. And when you give spice, it makes noise. Make spicy with intense karma and cooked in the kitchen of yoga. That's a good meal. So that even a baby can easily digest it. Baby can digest it. Such is the good meal. comes out. Only you give some dry eatable item. But suppose someone gives dry eatable item soaked in some syrup, and that syrup is put into the cooking vessel, and then you stir it, fry it, and then continuously let it cook, then it becomes easily digestible food. So this is the point. Someone gives you dry rice, okay, eat. The raw rice, eat. You cannot eat. To rice is to be soaked in, here is water, but there is the syrup. And then you need to boil. Sometimes if you give little less water and boil, what will happen? It will get stuck in the bottom. So you have to stir it. That's the karma, rubbing, praising. So all the faculties, Swami Vivekananda said, harmony. Ramakrishna stand for harmony. That harmonic idea is here also.
Jalebi.
Jalebi, yeah. Jalebi, you know, the 2.5 circle sweet. Ramakrishna used to like the jalebi sweet. It is fried and then put into the syrup, soaked into the syrup, like Rasagulla. You Rasagulla, the ball, a cheese ball, then you make a cheese ball, and then boil where? In the sweet syrup, and then put the heat. In that syrup it boils, and every pore the syrup enters into it, no? And it becomes soft, it becomes solid, then you release, it's called Rasgulla. So Rasgulla of Vedanta, Bhakti. Bhakti should be made like that. You should have to blend that. Both the intellect and devotion must go hand in hand. First, we must be convinced through the process of reasoning that God, the eternal being, the pure consciousness, the abiding love and bliss, is the innermost self of our being. First, you have to understand what is true in this world. People, when they are attached to the world and very engaged into the worldly activities every day, they have no time to think about God. God does not have any meaning in their life, no? So, but when something of the material world does not work, function, or people get some knocks and blows of the world, then some relationship broke, some financial crisis happens, some disaster in life happens. Then people say, why it is happening? A reason. Why it has come to me? I was doing the right thing. I was doing the best. Why it is not coming to the other people? They are bad people, they are doing things, and I am a good person, it comes. You see? Reason. You don't want to have reason. Reason does not mean that you have to be scholarly reason. Reason means your life's experience will take you to a position towards God. How? Reasoning. This world is not then ultimately true. I love my friend, I love my somebody, I love money, I love wealth, and I am cheated. Where is that? Why is that? Hey, why, what? Jivan jigyasa. It is called questioning of life. Life's questioning comes. That's why it is said, dukkhatrayo vighata jigyasa. People put questions, jigyasa. When? Dukkhatrayo abhighatat. When we get beaten by dukkhatrayo, 3 types of dukkha. 3 types of dukkha. What is the dukkha? I create some dukkha. That's adhatmika. I have created my trouble. No? I was going and I didn't notice the road or the step and I fell down. I cannot blame anyone. Why did you not look? So, I have created my own defect. No? I was cooking and inadvertently I didn't notice. My hand touched into the hot pan and it burned. You cannot blame. Hey, the pan has fallen upon me. The pan didn't fall. It is your fault. You touched the hot pan. So think that way. It is created by me. suffering which I have created. I cannot blame anyone. Adhyatmik. And now I am not doing anything. I was going and suddenly one car came and hit me. I fell down in the road, unconscious and something. And then people came and rescued and sent to hospital, this, that, no? So this suffering is created by what? I was really apparently, I was just walking in my footpath, in my, what is called sidewalk. But suddenly one bicycle came or something happened. One car just bumped into the sidewalk and hit me. We see so many stories like that. It's not created by me, but somebody, some agent. Adhyatmik, adi, bhautik, bhuta, other beings. Maybe cat, dog, spider, says what is that, black spider, or some insects biting. I didn't do anything, but they came into me. So that's called adi bhautik, bhuta, another being. And adhyatmik, adhyatmik adibhuti, adi doivik, doiva. Doiva means by natural disaster. What has happened? You are just sleeping and night time earth-shaking came, no? And so many people suddenly were entrapped into some earthquake situation. Many places, heavy earthquake, we hear the stories that are entrapped in between the boulders, this, that, no? So to whom to blame? This government has done? Or this man has done for me? No. And not only me, many people are affected. What can be done? This is what? 3 types of suffering. So these 3 types of suffering, we have to go again beyond that. That means we must first convince through the process of reasoning that God, the eternal being, is the eternal being, pure consciousness, the abiding love and bliss, is the innermost self of our all being. And other are dukkha, dukkha, dukkha. Wherever you go, it is dukkha, suffering, suffering, suffering. Buddha said, all suffering. Except, and there is also another, except in the love for God. World is full of suffering. The inmost self of our being, God is the inmost sense of our being, and then we must have interest in Him. First you have to know, these are all looks like friend. They are looks like it will give me joy. But I went there and find it turns into bitterness. Everything, whatever in material world you see, it is glittering. Go close and touch it, then you will find that it comes out its own disastrous nature of giving me dukkha, giving me suffering. And and love for Him in order to unfold the pure knowledge and supreme love. So then our eye opens, and then you become an analytical person, and then you see nothing, I will not go to the world in search of joy. Because world cannot give, it is full of dukkha, full of suffering. It is suffering. Anything you look at that. You like candies. Candies are good, eat. Then what happens? You see candy is eating you. You don't eat the candy. Then candy is, you are being trapped in candy, and then your health is disturbed. Your cholesterol is going high. Your sugar level is going high. Then doctor say, hey, what is the result? What are you doing? Then you say, oh, it is not good. So then you try to find in another thing. So whatever in the world we find charming, loving, caring, it ultimately turns into that. Even the love we call, love ends in misery. See how many people love each other and get into married and all these things, and then what happened to their family? Go and inquire every home. Bring one family who will say, ah, ha, 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 it was all good. That does not mean that one will not go to the that life, but I am saying dukkha. That's why Buddha's statement, everything is dukkha, everything is suffering, is so true. And if we go through this analysis, then your mind will turn towards, hey, where is the place where there is no dukkha? And that you fall in love with it. And that love, real love generates. You have tested and you understood nothing in the world can give us joy, pleasure, or any holiness, purity. It is only in God and God alone. Then your love for God becomes intense. So then we must have interest in Him and love for Him in order to unfold the pure knowledge and supreme love, and thereby attain our union with Him. So, you got it? That one, instead of one, you should anno asrayatam. Yeah? This is the anno asrayatam. It is devotion and path of love is not totally distinct, separate path. But it is only, one helps the other. We have to take advantage of that. Suppose some people go through the bad experiences I am talking about, and some people by seeing others suffering, they learn because of their past experience. Even I forget that will create disease and trouble. But when I see someone is suffering, eating too much of sweets, or doing some McDonald's food, or doing whatever is we like, and then see the condition, how much suffering is there. So then we draw the mind from that and go towards God. Now let me read the other book which says, 29 verse, Swami Tagishananda in page 127, Sutra 29 says, the mind is a homogeneous entity and cannot be cut up into watertight compartments. In exercising one function prominently, the others are also unconsciously exercised. One would do well to give exercise to all the functions, because they will be mutually strengthening and the goal will be attained sooner. There is no watertight compartment. This is called bhakti, this is called jnana. And one will help the other. Reason by itself is like a man, love like a woman. He is giving an example. Says Sri Ramakrishna, the one can go only as far as the drawing room. In earlier days, this example Ramakrishna gave, in Indian society, if you are not very intimate to the family, any men folks go, there is a place, you can go and sit there. The householder who is in charge of the home, that man will come and talk to you, greet you, some even give you some snacks, etc. But they will not take you to the inner door, inner courtyard, where it is exclusively the women are there, their intimate family affair. So Ramakrishna said, a jnana, knowledge, is like it takes you so far, but this side you cannot go on the other side. But bhakti is such that you can go into the inner courtyard, inner chambers of the residence. Inner chambers of residence, who can go? Those who are the family members. We go to anyone's home, we don't go to his or her bedroom. We go to the living room, sit there, and people entertain there itself, no? Unless you are very intimate, you don't go to the bedroom. So this is the position. As if jnana can go up to only the external chambers, no? But not the internal depth of where the pure intimacy you can have. Ricebrook says, where intellect must stay without love and will may enter in. Where intellect must stay without, that means intellect is outside, language is old language. Love and will may enter in. Up to intellect, you can stay up to this, you cannot go. With love you can feel. You see, intellect is here, feeling is here. It is like that. You can go up to intellect. Anyone can analyze something and intellectually understand. But to feel, you need the closeness. So bhakti is that. In the words of cloud of unknowing, it is a blind intent stretching towards God, Him, the true lovely will of the heart, which gains the goal. If the blind latent stretching, it is the blind intent stretching towards Him. Intent means analysis. My intention is to reach that. You go on analyzing. The true lovely will of the heart which gains the goal. Only love can take you to the goal. Intellect can take you to certain point. That's why even in Jnana, you have to transcend mind, transcend ego, transcend your intellect. Intellect only functions as analysis, no? Logic. St. Augustine also thinks that a man is nothing but his will. William Law says, the will makes the beginning, the middle and the end of everything. It is only workman in nature and everything is its work. Bible says the kingdom of heaven is taken by violence. The cloud of the unknowing says in another place, by the least longing, man is led to be the servant of God, not by faultless deductions of dialects, but by the mysterious logic of the heart. We have read that. Thus, if intellect refuses the help of feeling and willing, it remains dry intellectual dogma. If you have no love mixed with it, it becomes intellectual dogma. If love unassisted by intellect and will, if love is unassisted by intellect and will, again, on the contrary, you have love only, emotion only, but you have no reasoning, no understanding, you don't learn illogical, it will be blind sentimentalism. It will be blind sentimentalism. And if will is not helped by knowing, knowledge and love, it remains merely meaningless, aimless activity. In fact, it would also seem impossible for each of the functions to work separately in isolation. So, isolation, it will not work separately, it will work together, jointly, hand in hand. How can a man know the highest without putting forth effort to know, and without being prompted by the love of truth? So also is it possible for anybody to love truly without knowing the object of his love? Can you love anyone without knowing totally what that person is? Unknown person, you fall in love. You do not know, he may be a rogue. He may be a dangerous person.
But love at first sight, when it happens.
Say so, that's why trouble also comes. Love at first sight is good. You love someone at first sight. But if it is a good person, good. But that's why you analyze and then love. Then it will be stable. Question is that you can love anything. But will that love give you joy or it will bring suffering? You love someone for joy. But you find when you love, and many stories are coming in the newspaper and all these stories, and then you find that he is a killer, showing his face everywhere, and he is cheating people like one after another. See? So, that's why knowledge, you should know who you are loving. What is that man? That's why I said, Agyata Kulashila. Don't make any intimacy with people who you don't know intimately. In early days, that was a statement. That you want to make friendship with someone, before being very intimate, try to know who is that person, how his family background, is a dignified family, or he himself is born in a which environment, what is his intention, is it genuine or is it fake? So know it and love. Love is necessary. But will you love, will you throw your pearls among the swines? Many people do that. And then they get so much disgusted. I have seen many men and women, they say, oh my God, I am not going to have any relationship anymore. Hey? You went to relationship for joy. And what happened? I was so cheated. Huh? How can it be? I am not going to have that shock anymore. See? That's the blind faith or blind love, love at first sight. But inside, you do not know what is that. Therefore you love, but make sure that it is genuine. So that's why love God also, making genuine understanding about it. That means Vedanta. Genuine understanding of God means God is absolute, God is everywhere, God is Satchidananda. Huh? Knowing this, you love any aspect of God. Go. You will reach the same goal. So, also is it possible for anybody to love truly without knowing the object of his love and without exerting himself to serve his beloved. It is not also possible to exert oneself for somebody without knowing and loving him. Thus, all powers of the mind also cooperate with one another. Similarly, in the inner world, your mind also cooperate. Knowledge part, devotion part. We have in our mind only, no? Your mind becomes analytical, you call, he is a reasonable man of reason, and mind becomes emotional. So this is so look at the inner chamber of your heart and understand that. Okay? Any question come? No. So now let us go to the verse number then 30. What 30 says? Verse number 30 says, Sayang phalarupata iti brahma kumaraha. Or brahma kumaraha. Two types of reading is there. Alternate reading. Sayang phalarupata iti brahma kumara. Brahma Kumar, who are the Brahma Kumar? Brahma Kumar means Brahma's mind-born children. Who are the mind-born children? 4 eternally free children Brahma created out of his mind. They are not generated from normal birth. So Brahma willed, the holy person Brahma wanted to create, in his mind he thought, let there be these 4 children of me. What are they? Shuka, Sanandana, Sanaka, Sanatana. These are the 4. They are born from the birth because he has come of the holy thought in the mind of the creator God, Brahma. Understand? Brahma, not Brahma.
But is it like that or like spiritual son, like Dakhal Maharaj was Sri Ram?
Same, this is born out of that. That is the thing, it is born out of his mind. I do not know when the world was not there, how God will create someone's son, takes a mind born. You cannot say that for Swami Brahmananda. Brahmananda is born in the family of Ghosh family in Sikra.
Was born out of Vaishya.
But where it is coming? That is coming later on. That Sanatana is different. 4 Rishi Kumaras. So anyhow, those things, I do not know all these stories, but what they are saying, they are born, our subject is, they are born absolutely pure, absolutely pure. They have no attachment, they have no desire, they have no craving for anything. And world is now getting created. Then, that what they say, and Narada. That means the sage Narada, whose book we are reading, and also the 4 Brahma Kumaras, Sanandan, etc., Sanat Kumar, etc. For them, bhakti is sayang, means by its own phalarupa. It is its own fruit. You love Your bhakti practice is bhakti. Eh? You practice devotion mentally, emotionally, offering God everything, and you feel the bhakti here, love. Bhakti itself is bhakti. Practice itself leading to the bhakti. So that's the meaning here, bhakti phalaroop. What it says, uh, Narada says that spiritual realization is its own fruit. Huh? Its own fruit. You practice bhakti, you become bhakta. Bhakti is bhakta. Supreme love is identical with spiritual realization, which is its own result. Supreme love is its identical with same thing. Supreme knowledge, parabhakti and paragyana, they are all same. And Ramakrishna, when he is going by singing, dancing into samadhi, or sometimes he is talking with Mahima Charan and others, talking about Atman, Brahman, and going into samadhi. So in that state, both ways you can reach. But when you reach there, it is the same place. Destination is the same, but paths are too different. So supreme love is equal, identical with spiritual realization, which is its own fruit. Narada thereby indicates that the unfoldment of divinity, which is within, is not the effect of any other cause. That which is the effect of any other cause is bound to be something finite. Anything born of the limited will be limited. Anything born of limited cannot be unlimited. So, cause and effect relationship. Spiritual realization is something eternal and infinite. Spiritual realization you are not to bring from somewhere, it is here, only hidden, covered. That's why he says, Vedanta says, you are Atman, you are Brahman, you are that pure, you are that stainless. No? And Bhakti says, no, God is my all, God sits in my heart. You are talking about the same God. God is a language and I is another language. Here I does not mean this body, mind, I, and God means the Supreme Lord of the universe. One may ask, what need is there of the spiritual disciplines? So really, that is the question. What is need that we should practice spiritual disciplines of meditation, prayer, japa, and why? What need of the Vedas or the Bible or spiritual teachings? They also are within relativity and bound by the law of causation. In short, they are all within what the Vedantists call Maya. Huh? So people will say, what is the knowing? Anything we know through our mind. Mind, body, and this is the whole world. You are thinking something. Thinking is also your intellect. So it is not Brahman, it is Maya. It is the play of Maya. Body, mind, emotion, all are Maya. Someone may put this question. So the answer is coming. But we must remember that there are two aspects of Maya. True. One is the Vidya Maya, one is Avidya Maya. One is that Maya which takes us downgrade to the attachment and association with the world and creating trouble and confusion in our life. Another that takes us out of the Maya and leads us to realization. So both are Maya. One is Avidya, another is Vidya or knowledge. Vidya is that which ultimately leads us beyond Maya. And Avidya is that which binds us more firmly to Maya and greater ignorance, Maya and deeper ignorance. So, we sing song about Mother Kali or Mother Durga, no? Jat kare dauma brahma pado kare karo adhogami shakoli tomari icha. Bhakti says, oh Mother, it is will. You make someone Brahmagyani and you drown someone in total worldliness. It is your play, O mother. So please help me. Huh? Ami yantra, tumi yantri. You are the machinist, I am the machine. To me, you are the mistress of the house, I am the house only. As you wish, mistress decorates the house, puts the bed here, puts the vase here. It is will of the mistress. You are that. And I am the house only. So you make it beautify, you want to do whatever you like. I am your instrument only. So, with avidya and vidya. Scriptures, teachings and spiritual disciplines belong to Vidya Maya. We are reading scriptures. Then we are listening to the teachings of Narada, teachings. And the spiritual disciplines, our gurus teach us, do japa, do meditation, do pray. These belong to what group? Vidya Maya. That means which will take you off from the suffering of Maya. And spiritual disciplines, and it is not the illumined knowledge of God or supreme love, is the effect of these disciplines and teachings. God is already dwelling within, and that pure knowledge, which is one of the supreme love, the pure knowledge, which is one with the supreme love, is already there in us. All this is there now. That's why Swamiji said each soul is potentially divine. So it is already there. Only we have to make it unfold, which is one of the supreme love already there, being identical with God. But God, who is dwelling within, is covered with ignorance. Through those spiritual disciplines as taught by the teachers and scriptures are finite, they remove ignorance, which it is also finite. By practice, your ignorance is removed. So your practice is removing, not bringing knowledge, but it is removing finite thing. Finite covering, finite thing has covered the light. See, this chandelier is covered with something a little thin, some cloth or something. To see the light, you do not do anything. You just remove that thin layer. So our spiritual practice is like that. Morning meditation, reading books, etc. is removing the finite thing. Finite knowledge, finite thing, remove. And truth, eternal truth, is here, will remain only manifest or unmanifest. As the ignorance is removed, the divinity within us becomes unfolded. Sri Ramakrishna used to give the illustration of a thorn stuck in one's flesh. One uses another thorn to take it out and then throws both away. So, in our life we have to read scripture, we have to chant mantras, all these things have to be done. Why? It is like taking another thorn to pull out the avidya Maya. Maya is negative, which drowns us, to take out. So finite with finite. And then when your thorn is come out of your body, then what you go? You throw out both of them. Which helped you and which was drowning you to the deeper depth of ignorance. Both things you throw away. You don't have to preserve anything. Normally people don't do that. So then you become healthy person. That pain is gone. The Vedas say we must reach the stage when Vedas become no Vedas. Veda, Aveda bhavanti. Veda means the wisdom of the sages, now written in the 4 Vedas, Rig, Sam, Raju, Atharva. But these Vedas are the wisdom. So the Vedas become useless then. Vedanta, Ramakrishna used to say. He has not read Veda or Vedanta. But what he comes out, that is Vedas, that is Vedanta. So that's a new Vedas, we call Gospel of Ramakrishna is the new Veda. Huh? Why it is new Veda? It has transcended the Vedas also. Vedas are only intellectually, you read something, you get intellectual knowledge. But Ramakrishna, in his life, he transcended all this. Shankara says, the Vedas, the Puranas, all the scriptures, and all living creatures only exist because Atman exists. How then can any of them reveal the Atman, which is the revealer of everything? So, who can reveal that which reveals everything?
One question.
So no one can reveal that light which reveals all our knowledge. So this is the point. So we end here, 30th.
One question.
One question. So next day, if you remember, we'll read the 30th verse from the other book. Many a times in my day, I can feel things happen due to sheer grace of the Mother. However, sometimes my mind forgets about it and worries about the future. How to overcome this? This is the same thing. We have to practice, practice, practice. Yes, everyone's life. It happens that we sometimes feel that anything happening is by the grace of God, good or bad, whatever. Sometimes we cannot feel anything and we get drowned into that fear, worries, anxieties. In life it happens. Sometimes your mind cooperating, okay, but it is happening by Mother's grace. Let it be so. I am not affected by it. But in other times it happens really in life that I don't want, but it is happening and I have no trust, I have no faith, so I am lost as it were. So what to do? Then again we have to hold the feet of the Lord or feet of the Mother, say, oh Ma, please help me. I am forgetting you. That's why I am becoming nervous. I know if you are there to protect me, what shall I fear about? Anything bad comes, let it come so. So surrender, surrender. That surrender attitude is a great ideal in spiritual life. So we should not be worried about that because it does not come to us immediately. So that's the process. Again I forget, again I remember, again I forget, again I remember. And time will come, we will not be able to have to worry about anything. So main thing to practice and pray. Yeah? I am forgetting you, Lord. Please help me to remember that you are here with me. You are holding my hand. Nothing will happen. Whatever happens, nothing will happen means whatever happens is your will. If you, Mother of the universe, hold my hand and things happen, what shall I do? That story of the frog. The frog said, oh Rama, I cry and take refuge in and say, oh Rama, please help me. But when I know the Rama's arrow has killed me, so to whom shall I cry? So if I know, oh Mother, you are my destiny, and you are giving me this trouble, okay, let thy will be done, what can I say? So surrender, 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 pray, 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 pray. So we end here. So stay well, and then we'll meet. Today was one announcement. Today was our Mother Kali immersion. We finished it. We went only the few monastics and residents only. 16, 17 people went there. 15. Exactly 15 people. So we went and it was very, not much ceremonial, but it was joyful. But sorry that we could not share with every devotee as we do because of this situation. So thank you all, and we'll meet again at 7:30 in our Nectar of Supreme Knowledge class. Starts at 7:30 today. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.